If you like what I do, consider joining my channel or donating to my coffee. Links in the description. Not too long ago, I covered my top 10 Metroidvanias coming in 2026. And truthfully, that list could have easily been twice as long. There are so many incredible Metroidvanias aiming for this year that I knew I had to come back with a part 2. This video is all about the games that didn't make the first list, not because they're any less exciting, but because 2026 is shaping up to be absolutely stacked. And before anyone asks, yes, I really wanted to put Silent Planet: Elegy of a Dying World on here. That game looks incredible, but without a release date, I had to hold myself back. For now. Hey, I'm the Metroidvania Guru, and this is the top 10 Metroidvanias coming in 2026. Part 2.
Number 10.
Aeterna Lucis is the sequel to one of the hardest Metroidvanias ever made. And it looks like the Aeterna team is doubling down on everything that made the first game such a beast. This time, the story picks up right after that massive cliffhanger from Aeterna Noctis. And I'm genuinely excited to see where they take the lore, the world building, and the rivalry between light, darkness, and chaos. What really has me hyped is seeing how they evolve that signature precision platforming meets brutal combat formula. Aeterna Noctis was already infamous for pushing players to their limits, and if Lucas builds on that with new abilities, new biomes, and a more focused narrative payoff, this could be one of the standout Metroidvanias of 2026. It's ambitious, it's gorgeous, and it's shaping up to be a worthy continuation of one of the genre's toughest modern classics.
Number 9.
Augment Anthem is a sci-fi Metroidvania where you play as Ego, a machine warrior waking up in a hostile alien world ruled by killer machines. Humanity is on the brink of extinction, and it's up to you to fight back, rescue survivors, rebuild a human settlement, and uncover the true meaning behind the mysterious Anthem. It's got that classic lone warrior in a dying world vibe, but with a warm undercurrent thanks to the town building and character interactions. One of the creators, Josh Grant, best-selling author, comic writer, and game designer, reached out to me to share the game and its systems, and that message alone got me even more excited. The Augment system lets you slot modifiers directly into your core abilities, so your jump, dash, or gun can evolve in wild ways depending on how you build Ego. Combine that with a human town progression and a deep story, and this feels like a Metroidvania that's aiming for both mechanical depth and emotional weight. With the game set to launch on May 15th, 2026, Augment Anthem is shaping up to be one of the more ambitious sci-fi entries in the genre this year.
Number 8.
Aggelos II is the sequel to one of my favorite modern Metroidvanias, a game that perfectly captured that classic Wonder Boy feel without feeling like a throwback for its own sake. The first Aggelos nailed that bright, adventurous late 80s action platformer experience, and everything about the sequel looks like it's doubling down on that charm. What really has me excited this time is the new dual form system. You can shift between two different versions of your character, each with its own abilities and combat style. And the way the game weaves that into exploration and combat looks like it has a ton of potential. It's the kind of mechanic that can open up clever puzzles, branching routes, and some really fun combat tech if they push it far enough. For me, Aggelos II is shaping up to be a love letter to classic action adventures with just enough modern flair to stand out in 2026.
Number 7.
Faeland is one of those games that immediately grabs you with its pixel art. The level of detail in the environments, the character sprites, and especially the animations are just incredible. Everything moves with this smooth, handcrafted charm that makes the world feel alive in a way most retro-inspired games never quite reach. What's interesting is that Faeland's fantasy setting could have easily come off as pretty generic. They've got forests, villages, monsters, the usual suspects. But the artistry is so strong that it actually gives the world its own identity. The pixel work is so polished and expressive that it elevates the entire aesthetic, making the familiar feel fresh again. Faeland has this quiet confidence to it, like a classic fantasy adventure brought to life by a team that really understands what makes fantasy tropes so endearing. This could be an unexpected 2026 Metroidvania hit.
Number 6.
Nocturnal II immediately won me over the moment I played the demo. The hero controls with this buttery smoothness that makes every jump, dash, and aerial slash feel natural, almost instinctive. And speaking of aerial combat, it's incredibly satisfying here. There's a weight and rhythm to the attacks that makes juggling enemies feel clean and deliberate. But the real hook for me is the fire. Finding torches, lighting them, and watching that progression bar tick upward activates all the right parts of my gamer lizard brain. It's a perfect little dopamine loop, and the fire effects themselves are gorgeous. Bright, fluid, and explosive in a way that makes every hit feel impactful. If the full game builds on the demo's movement, combat flow, and fire mechanics, Nocturnal II could end up being one of the most stylish and satisfying Metroidvanias of 2026.
Number 5.
Monomoon is one of the most charming Metroidvanias on this entire list. The childlike storybook aesthetic is bright, colorful, and instantly disarming, and the main character is just ridiculously adorable. It activates that I want to protect this little guy at all costs mechanism in my brain, and the art direction leans into that softness in a way that makes the whole world feel warm and inviting. But the real hook is the control scheme. The game looks to be a hybrid platformer / point-and-click adventure where you're using a literal moon to interact with the environment, manipulating objects, prodding enemies, and solving puzzles in ways that feel completely unique for the genre. It's playful, tactile, and opens the door for some really clever design. And then there's the knowledge-based progression that's been teased. Monomoon bills itself as an open-world Metroidvania that could be completed in a few hours, unless you want to dig deeper to find what's hidden within. I'm freaking sold. That combination of adorable presentation, inventive mechanics, and cerebral progression is exactly why this one stands out so much in the 2026 lineup.
Number 4.
A Sister's Journey is one of the most visually striking Metroidvanias on this entire list. Every screenshot or video the devs have shared look like a pixel art masterpiece. Rich colors, detailed environments, and this wonderfully expressive style that makes the world feel handcrafted. And the animations are just adorable. They have that bouncy, snappy energy that reminds me a bit of Celeste, where every movement feels alive and full of personality. But it's not just pretty. I'm a huge fan of gunplay mixed with interesting platforming, and this game seems to lean hard into that combo. The movement looks tight, the shooting looks punchy, and the way those two systems overlap gives me a lot of confidence in the moment-to-moment gameplay. And on top of all that, I'm really looking forward to the story. Everything about the tone suggests it's aiming for something heartfelt, maybe even heart-wrenching, and with visuals this expressive, I think the emotional beats are going to land hard. This might be the MV that makes me cry in 2026.
Number 3.
Clockwork Ambrosia is a wild fusion of steampunk style and run-and-gun Metroidvania action. You play as Iris, an airship pilot fighting through an island full of deadly robots and monsters, and the game's biggest hook is how deeply you can customize your weapons. Instead of chasing simple damage upgrades, you're discovering mods, rule-based tweaks that completely reprogram how your guns behave. You can stack hundreds of these mods together to create bizarre and deadly builds. Maybe you disable a bullet to power up another, then chain that into a mod that fires extra rounds whenever you disable one. And suddenly, you've built a weapon that breaks the laws of logic. It's that kind of system that makes Clockwork Ambrosia feel endlessly experimental. The movement looks just as creative. you'll unlock classic abilities like wall jumps and special gloves that let you stride along ceilings, all while exploring a handcrafted steampunk world full of secrets, friends, and gorgeously animated enemies. If you love games that reward tinkering and discovery, Clockwork Ambrosia is shaping up to be one of the most inventive Metroidvanias of 2026.
Number 2.
Altered Alma drops you into Neo Barcelona, a neon-drenched cyberpunk city that looks absolutely stunning. The art direction is stylish, colorful, and full of personality. It's the kind of setting that immediately makes you want to explore every alleyway and rooftop just to soak in the atmosphere. I played the demo, and the first thing that hooked me was the combat. It's crunchy and incredibly satisfying, especially once you start using the quantum knife. That thing is the star of the show. It's not just a weapon, it's a full movement system. You're using it for brutal glory kills, for platforming, and for teleporting all over the place like a cyber ninja. It gives the heroine, Jack, this aggressive, stylish mobility that makes every encounter feel dynamic. And then there's the dating sim aspect, which is such a fun curveball. It adds a layer of character interaction and emotional depth you don't usually see in Metroidvanias, and I'm really curious to see how those relationships tie into the story and progression. Between the slick combat, the quantum knife's versatility, and the vibrant Neo Barcelona setting, Altered Alma might be the most stylish and personality-driven Metroidvania of 2026.
Number 1.
Well Dweller is the latest Kylevania from Kyle Thompson, my bestest best bro in the whole wide world. Now, he has blocked me on every social platform, ignored all my calls, and may or may not have filed something with his local authorities. But that's just Kyle being silly old Kyle. It's fine, I'm fine, we're fine. Anyway, Well Dweller has that classic Kyle Thompson style I love. The cutesy, minimalistic characters, the simple but expressive environments. But this time, he's taken things in a darker direction. And honestly, that contrast is exactly what's gotten me so hyped. The juxtaposition of cute and scary is a mix I really dig, and Kyle's art style is perfect for that kind of tonal mishmash. It makes the world feel unsettling in a way that sneaks up on you. If Kyle sticks the landing on this darker twist while keeping his signature charm, Well Dweller could end up being one of the most unique and atmospheric Metroidvanias of 2026. And that wraps up part 2 of my top 10 Metroidvanias coming in 2026. Now, I want to hear from you. What upcoming Metroidvanias are you looking forward to in 2026? Drop it in the comments. I always love seeing what hidden gems you all are excited about. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button so the algorithm knows you're one of the good ones. And if you want more Metroidvania deep dives, reviews, and breakdowns, make sure to subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss anything. And give me your hype points. Until next time, later nerds.